Hello, everybody.
Hey, guys. It's Josh.
And it's Al.
Welcome to the Mad Max Fury Road audio commentary.
Yay.
Yeah. So, this is a personal favorite of Al's and mine. This last summer, especially, it was a big surprise. Just a really good movie. And yeah, I think we saw it twice in the theater.
Yeah, well,
but you saw it 3 times.
I saw
right?
it 3 times, yeah.
Yeah.
I saw it twice with you, and I saw it once on my own.
Yeah. But,
yeah, it's, for me, it's probably the best movie I've seen all year.
Yeah, it was critically acclaimed and, yeah, just fantastic.
I think it's at 97% on Rotten Tomatoes, which is extraordinary for an action movie.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's more to the action. It's got a good story, and a lot of people say it's a simple story, and that's true. It doesn't involve a lot of hard thinking, but it's still a good story,
I agree. It takes everything about film, the photography, the cinematography, the music, the editing, the stunt work, the fighting choreography. It's the music. It takes everything and it just turns it into this just perfect amalgamation of what a movie should be. It's near perfect, about as near perfect as an action movie can be, and yeah, I'm not sure it'll get any Oscar consideration, but I think it should. I think there should be at least some nominations. I mean, special effects. I'm not saying the acting's good, but I don't. Maybe Charlize Theron. That's a stretch, kind of. But
it's
not the kind of movie where the actors are almost kind of like silent movie actors.
Well, the expression, though, that kind of helps with performance.
Yeah, it's just pure cinema to sound kind of cliche. It's just one of those movies you think about, like, when people talk about how powerful silent movies used to be. It's one of those movies that you could watch without the sound. Obviously, it's a lot more enjoyable with the sound. It's it's one of those movies where you could listen without sound, and it's just still is gripping and powerful. With just the imagery alone. But then you add the music and the sound design.
It'd be cool to see like a silent movie. I did hear it was rumors after the movie came out that one of the special features was going to be like a black and white version of the movie. I thought that was kind of cool. I guess Miller said something about that was kind of his vision in a way, even though he was going to do it in color, but he just thought it gave it more real feeling. I'm not quite sure, but it's like those classic black and white movies. I mean, could you imagine it being in black and white and then a silent film as well? It'd be kind of interesting, but
yeah, it sounded like something they were going to add, but it's probably going to get pushed to a later release or something like that. They're probably going to make everybody double dip and buy another,
of course,
Ultimate Edition or something.
And we will.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So we've got the Blu-ray version here. We're currently on the main menu screen. And so I think we've got the subtitles on, and we'll probably count it down here when we hit play. So
yeah,
Josh, you want to count it down?
Sure. I'm gonna hit play in 3, 2, 1.
Play. Okay, so here we go.
So yeah, this movie was in development forever, pretty much. I mean, since 80s for sure.
Well, let's see. The original Mad Max came out in 79, and the Road Warrior was 82, and then Beyond Thunderdome was 85. And so I think he got the idea for this movie sometime in the mid to late 90s. And so I think it started development all the way back in around 1997, according to what we read on the web. And so it was kind of in development for many, many years. And Mel Gibson was attached to it up until 2003 to 2007. And then they finally moved on from that just because of all the delays.
Well, 9/11 happened.
Yeah, and right. the Iraq War. And then they had all kinds of problems deciding where to shoot it because of just various things that happened. They didn't film this in Australia like the other ones were. This one was filmed in Namibia, Africa. So they had a free reign in all of this desert landscape to do whatever they wanted, and it took about 6 months to film. And it was a very dusty, very very rough shoot for everybody just because of the conditions, all the dust, all the...
Well, I think Tom Hardy actually had short tempers. He apologized later on for it. But.
Yeah, it was well publicized that he and Charlize Theron had some blow-ups on sets, and I think Tom Hardy at the Cannes Film Festival where this was shown, he apologized to George Miller, the director, on stage because he said during the filming he couldn't see the big picture. He didn't realize how great this was the final product was going to be, and so much of this movie was made in editing. In post-production.
It's just beautiful. Just looking at it right now.
Yeah, the color was tweaked in post-production. This opening shot of Max here in front of his V8 Interceptor, it's just an iconic shot. It's one, I think it's been used in a lot of the marketing of the movie.
He just had a snack too. It was a double-headed lizard.
Yeah, it's
yum.
Kind of lets the audience know there's been some nuclear fallout and there's been some mutation.
Yes, they've they had a little intro of some of like nuclear footage in the past of bombings and stuff, so it kind of sets the tone.
Yeah, they kind of give the backstory along with Max's narration here.
Exactly.
And you'll notice this opening shot where he drives away in his car trying to get away from these bandits here. Or these war boys.
They just got them.
The car kind of leapt into the frame over the top of the camera, and so that was partially for the 3D. They filmed some of this for 3D, and the first time we watched it was in 3D.
Right.
And I really enjoyed it in 3D. Yeah. I know there's some compromises with how dark the movie is, and sometimes trying to watch the action, it can get a little blurry in 3D. But I really enjoyed it in 3D. I bought the 3D version of the Blu-ray, but I don't have a 3D TV. But maybe someday.
Yeah, it was good in 3D. The action sequences were very, very well used for 3D. The only thing 3D didn't capture, I think, was the beauty of just the shots and the look. You could still see it, but it was nice to go see it in 2D afterwards, just to see it for the image and.
3D is good for a really visceral experience, but in 2D you get a lot more detail. You can take in the images a lot better. You're able to take in a lot more. And so here we have Max, who's been captured by this gang here in the wasteland. He's been taken back to their citadel, their fortress, and they're tattooing him all their vital statistics to keep track of him.
He's basically going to be a human blood bag for their war boys.
Yeah.
That's what they're called, right?
Right.
The pale dudes.
Yeah.
He's about to get branded here. He's not going to have it.
And I don't think
Spoiler.
It doesn't appear that he ever did get branded.
Yeah, they never explore that.
It looks like he was able to escape, and then they never did get back around to branding him like they did everybody else. Like Furiosa, you'll notice later on, has her back of her neck was branded.
And there's this car. It's getting redone. It's every movie, it seems his car is destroyed and then it's redone by the enemy or somehow it resurfaces.
Yeah, it magically reappears.
It's one of those, yeah. He's just missing his dog. He's got everything else that classic Max had. So yeah, right now he's trying to escape and he's kicking some good ass and here.
And
he's a flashback of his daughter.
Yeah. They use that flashback of the daughter quite a bit,
which has changed because the original was a son, I believe. It was a son and his wife that were murdered, ran over in the first Mad Max.
Right. Yeah.
But it's a revision in a way, retelling or whatever.
I think George Miller, his explanation was that the details weren't quite as important as just got the general vibe of the character.
It's more about the legend.
Yeah.
That's basically what you take from it. So yeah, he's having all these crazy flashbacks or hallucinations. All the people who've died, as he's traveled. Now he's looking up at the. This is where Morton Joe hangs out.
In Morton Joe, yeah. These are some really cool shots here where he's where the 3D was
jumps
really
off the cliff.
It's really good.
And you think he's gonna make it, or you think he's gonna get going, but no, they're
able to drag him back inside the compound.
He's fighting though.
They put some sort of something over his head. Is that is that pantyhose? I don't even know.
Condom or something. Yeah.
To blind him anyway.
Mad Max Fury Road.
So yeah, that's a really cool title.
Yeah, it was cool. They had the narration, the credits, you know, it gets you right into it, and then the title after the action sequence. And
yeah, they don't waste any time.
no, and this is they don't. And this is our introduction to Furiosa.
There's very few wasted moments in this movie. It's so tightly edited and so well put together. The pacing is so good.
Oh yeah, and I think everybody who listens to this will notice that we're probably not going to pick on this as much as the other ones we have, because it's just, to us, it's a masterpiece. You know, over time we'll see what happens, but there's really nothing to pick apart. I mean, I've seen this movie 3 times. This is my 4th, so I don't really see much wrong with it. You know, just nitpicking it, of course, but.
No, well, I mean, it's a movie that's just wall to wall. You know, it's just almost wall to wall car chase, and it's just edited so well, and it's just, there's so many great shots, and the stunts are just so amazing that it's so well done, and there's not much you can do to really criticize it. It's just a masterpiece of a movie.
And I think there's like a prequel comic to this story. It describes more of Morton Joe, how he established himself. He was a soldier or something like that.
Yeah, I think it was I think he survived the initial apocalypse or whatever, or nuclear attack, and he established himself as the leader of these people. So
he's basically a weak man, but he's it's kind of like a Roman mythology kind of. They put some muscle gear on him, makes him look strong. And
yeah, you can see he's got all these things all over his body that shows how the fallout has affected him, and you can see he's got some deformed and misshapen family members and
holy crap,
followers. Yeah, so
yeah,
and in the tradition of Darth Vader, and
yes,
he's got, and Bane and other characters like that, has to wear a mask and a breathing apparatus. That's just kind of become a thing with movie villains.
It just makes him menacing, that mask, you know, and the makeup,
more iconic,
right? And they all they'll explore it later. With the main war boy in this movie, we come to know, but they all have like tumors, especially him. Mm-hmm. As they were putting his back piece on, you could see a ton on his back. So.
Right? Yeah, that's pretty gross. And he had some little boy blowing I think it's like this talcum powder on his back to help soothe his wounds. So here he's about to turn on the floodgates of water here for all these people that aren't looking too good.
Yeah, they're thirsty.
So they're just willing to just sop up the water off the ground here after it comes pouring out of these pipes.
Right. If you don't think he's a dick already, you're about to, because he's not going to give him much time to get some water here.
So he's kind of turned himself into this demigod here by controlling the water supply and the amount of food that anybody has. And he's perched himself up here on the top of these cliffs, where he's growing produce and he controls the amount of water everybody has. And right after this scene, I think it's coming up here in a little bit, they're going to show he has these milkmaids that are hooked up to. Yeah. They're being milked like cows. Is it just for him and his family, or is it for the war boys as well? It's probably for everybody there inside the compound.
Well, yeah, because I think Furiosa gets it too, because she was able to, she knew what it was.
Well, I think they were even transporting some of it.
Yes, they were
to trade with another town.
So basically, here she's getting ready. They're going on a fuel run. Is that what they're doing? They're trading. They're going to Gastown.
The Gastown, and then I think they're going to go to the Bullet Farm as well.
So yeah, there's several towns in this movie, and they all have their own, bullets
and
gas.
And apparently, the other towns are run by his brothers. So he and his brothers have set themselves up as these dictators over these towns, and they kind of barter with each other.
Yes.
So for different resources. So one town has all the bullets, and one town has all the gasoline, or guzzling as they call it in the movie, and these guys have all the food and water. So Furiosa they're already heading out on this convoy, where she's got this war rig of I think milk and water mostly, and fuel. that they're going to go barter with.
And we're going to find out pretty soon she has some other stuff on board.
Oh yeah.
What's really cool about her look there is she, I think I noticed it the second time I saw the movie, she gets grease from her steering wheel or column and wipes it all over her head, and it goes down to her eyes. So it really makes her eyes pop. It's really a cool look.
Yeah. I kind of wondered, I know they had, guys like Brandon McCarthy and these other storyboard artists that kind of created the look for a lot of these characters. I don't know what how they came up with this look for her, but it's pretty brilliant.
It's really cool. I dig it. It's like a mask, but it obviously isn't. And of course, some of the War Boys, they have the same practices. Looks like.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, this is just beautifully. The colors are just, great.
It looks as good as it did in the theater. I mean, it looks amazing. So
tweaks like this are very acceptable, I think, because obviously the train didn't look this nice. Because I've seen some before and afters on some of the CG. I'm sure some of it looked great, but they, like you said, it was in post production. They tweaked a lot.
Yeah, there was times where they added, they would need to add some, where they're going through the mountains. It was too dangerous to film it actually next to the mountains, so they probably had to CG him in. But a lot of these stunts were practically filmed, so a lot of the actual wrecks and people flying around were real.
Oh yeah, hats off to the stunt team. They killed it. I mean.
Yeah, the Mad Max movies have been become kind of legendary for their stunts and their car chases, and so this topped all of them.
But this is to the max, though. I mean, there you go. There's your milkmaids.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, yeah, of course, over time, stunts have gotten better. They're able to plan them better using like computers and things like that. And so I think that's why they really pop out in this movie. Like they really push it, it seems.
It's a throwback to, because, for example, a movie like Transformers or other movies that, most of it's, or even the Avengers movies, most of that's done in a computer. But this one, you could tell they were actually wrecking real things and blowing up real things a lot of the time.
Yeah, and they gave you just the right amount of slow motion as things were being destroyed. It wasn't like overdone,
Yeah.
Just right.
This is a movie, I'd compare it to a movie like Star Wars in the way it creates its world. It's in everything from what they wear to the characters. It just creates this entire world that is, it's slightly more, it's somewhat grounded in reality, but it's just, it's a little bit hyper real as well.
Right.
But it just, everything looks worn and but practical. So it's and imaginative and creative. So it's one of those movies where it just creates this entire world that you come to believe in.
So Furiosa's gone off course. The War Boys with her going with it. They just listen to her, They don't really know what her plan is. Morton Joe found out, or just by looking at a distance, she went off course, and he had an idea that his brides were possibly with her. So this is where he's at now. This is where he's kept his brides.
Yeah. So he's kept these, how many women are there? I believe there's 5 of them.
Mm-hmm.
That he's held these young women that have been kind of his love slaves, sex slaves, if you will, because what he's wanting to do is he's wanting to breed these healthy children to help propagate his offspring. It's because currently all the children he has are, mutated or deformed in some way.
Or
so he's trying to have healthy,
mindless.
Yeah. So he's picked out all of the, most genetically, I guess what you'd call genetically, superior, yeah, females, young females to breed with.
Prime cut.
Yeah. So it's kind of sick, but
so this is, sorry. I was just going to say, this is, Nicholas, Holt. He was Beast in the X-Men movies, the new ones. This is his first appearance here in this movie.
And he plays the character of Nux.
So yeah, he's pretty ill, and he's actually hooked up to Max right now, getting blood from him. I'm not sure if they expect him to live long. They kind of went back and forth on that, it seems. But all these War Boys they're gearing up for battle. They're gonna go pursue Furiosa, and I guess they all have their own steering wheels. And so, excuse me, Nicholas's character, his wheels getting taken from another another war boy. He's fighting over it.
Yeah.
And he really wants to go. He wants to die on Fury Road.
Yeah. The other war boy is named Slit. I think he was in X-Men.
Yes, he
Days
was.
of Future Past.
Yep, he played Colonel Stryker. Mm-hmm. I forgot his name at the time.
I think it's Josh something. But yeah. So, but yeah, the other
unrecognizable though. I didn't know that was him until after. I mean, just looking at his face, he's just got staples in it, and
yeah, he's kind of got that Joker.
Yeah.
And well, he's named Slit for a reason, and the size of his mouth has been slit open.
So they just get off on these, pursuits, and, he just decked that guy, and instead of getting up and fighting each other, they're getting all hyped up.
I think George Miller said he based the War Boys on the kamikazes, where they've been brainwashed into believing that this Immortan Joe is a god to them, and their lives are short because of the fallout and and all the health problems they have. So they're just if they can die in battle, that's everything to them.
Because the ultimate goal is to go to Valhalla.
Valhalla, yeah. So Immortan Joe has somehow managed to mix in this Nordic mythology with what he preaches. So we got our first look at the Doof Warrior, the Coma Doof Warrior, who plays this flamethrower guitar.
War Charger.
On top of this, on top of that War Charger vehicle with all those speakers on it, which is a brilliant creation because, most, a lot of armies have some sort of, a lot of armies have had like a drummer boy or a drummer and five player. So they figured, hey, why not have in a post-apocalyptic world, why not have a heavy metal guitar player on top of a car?
Hey, it makes sense for a War Charge. It's really cool. I mean, I'll be honest, the first time I saw this movie, I did kind of cringe when I saw that, but then it totally just worked. And it's one of the high points of the movie.
It's just one of those over the top crazy things. And it just, it's like, who would have thought of that? It's like, it's just so insane that it works. And it's funny. And
the Max, of course, is strapped to, what's Nicholas Holt's character, his war boy? Do you recall? Anyway, he's going to be our main war boy character. We get to know.
You're talking about Nux? That's the character's name.
Okay, yeah.
Nux.
Yeah. He's strapped Max to the front of his car because he needs his blood. So yeah, Max is he's getting a pretty bumpy ride, and of course he's muttering to himself, which it's kind of hard to hear. I think it was redubbed, and I don't even know if it was Hardy's voice because it doesn't really sound like it, but.
Well, that's a weird thing. Like Tom Hardy has a lot of he's able to modulate his voice into a lot of different. He grunts a lot.
Yeah, it's possible.
He has he sounds different in a lot of different scenes just because his voice is kind of weird.
Right. And this is like another tribe. They've spotted Furiosa. They just want the goods. They don't really care what her motive is. That you'll find these gangs throughout the desert, basically. And
this gang is chasing them here. They've become kind of famous for looking like the Sand People in Star Wars, and they do look like the Sand People.
Yes, they do.
So yeah, so you can see I like the design of the vehicles too. They have these spikes all over them, so that
you can't really
to protect themselves,
touch them, and yeah. Oh yeah, that's Furiosa's arm. That's really a cool special effect piece. I think she wore like a green sock pretty much on her hand.
A sock. Well, yeah, some sort of green.
Well, when it was off, she did. When it was
sleeve,
off, yeah, and then they were able to take that out and
CG in this mechanical arm.
But it's a cool effect. And if you notice on her door, there's a skeleton of like her left arm. So I don't know if that's an homage to how she lost her arm.
Yeah, it looks like almost like some sort of cave painting to like,
really
hey,
cool.
here's where my arm used to be around this area.
Yeah.
So they have these they have these incendiary spears that they throw that blow up when they throw them, and so they're like these grenade spears. I can't remember what they call them. I think they call them fire sticks or
boomsticks.
Yeah, in the movie Boomsticks. So yeah, so many of these stunts where these cars are getting blown up and wrecked were just done for real, and they look amazing. And it's all being filmed while, on the move.
Right.
And they use the system called the Edge camera, which is like this camera that's held on the crane of a car that's being controlled mechanically by somebody inside this little bubble. So many of these shots are filmed,
That's a cool shot.
yeah, by this Edge camera. They can get these angles that you would never be able to get normally.
Yeah, these guys, man, they have everything, it seems.
Yeah, that's really cool. That's one of the designs of the storyboard artist came up with, where to have that that scooper there on top of a vehicle.
It's like a giant robot war kind of, with the vehicles, the crane and stuff.
Yeah. I love that the sweeping helicopter shot. Yeah. Over the top. That's amazing. Just think of all the coordination they had to have all these vehicles driving all at once.
Well, and sometimes in post, they would basically splice them together instead of having all of them. They would, just concentrate on like 4 at a time. Then they would put it all together in one shot. I don't know. I'm sure, like in this shot, it's all there. But I did check that out on some site. It's pretty cool to. I mean, like I said before, it's just the right amount of CG they were using. And they're using the CG for the best intentions.
Yeah, well, they also used it to get rid of a lot of the harnesses and cables that held the actors on from falling off.
Yeah.
Falling to their deaths and stuff like that.
Yeah, you really feel for Max when he's strapped to the front of his car.
Oh, yeah, he's got explosions and all kinds of things going on.
He can't do anything about it.
No. He's got some sort of like some sort of gardening apparatus that's been modified into a face mask.
And this is the introduction to the spray paint or whatever it is in the movie.
Yeah, apparently it's meant to get them high so that they can face death. Yeah, so they use this silver spray paint to huff on it and get high before they and like this guy's leaping to his death.
As one does.
Yeah. As one tends to do in a post-apocalyptic world.
And, of course, they're all excited for their friend who just killed himself.
Yeah, although they do say mediocre, so.
Well, he does, yeah.
Everybody has a critic.
Yeah. So, basically...
I mean, look at these shots. Look at these. Just so many people just standing all over these vehicles, going, who knows how fast down in this desert. Just crazy. The way that, is just... These action scenes are just amazing. People leaping off the vehicles.
It's fantastic. And they slow it down and they speed it up. It's really cool how they do that. A lot of cool camera effects.
Yeah, I know they were editing this movie right before it was released. So, and you can tell they really
they had the time. It's probably a good thing about it taking so long.
Yeah, probably not nearly as many movies have nearly as much time to like craft it as much as they did here. And Warner Brothers gave them the freedom to do it. So,
yeah, good for them. Because, usually if a movie's on a shelf for a while, this wasn't really on a shelf, but if it's been done,
well, it's
taken forever.
It took so many years.
It's usually a bad sign, but in this case,
usually it's a recipe for disaster because you hear these reports of, troubles on set and it's taking several years just to produce it. Usually it turns out like something like Fantastic Four where like everybody, where it just the end result isn't what everybody wanted. But this one is one of those rare exceptions because the director is just so good and he's so experienced and knows exactly what he's doing.
Well, I don't know if there was ever any bad word about this being delayed. If people were speculating that it was just a pile of junk.
Generally, this movie had been in production since 1997 and finally got released this year in 2015. I mean, that almost never happened.
Of course, they didn't start shooting until 2010, right? That's when Hardy was cast in June.
Yeah, they didn't start shooting until around, I believe, 2012. Yeah, from July through December 2012. And then they did some additional photography in 2013.
That'd be a real patient shoot. I mean, because once this was released, Charlize Theron's hair was all grown back, so a lot of time passed.
Oh yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that. She actually did shave her head for the role because she went to George Miller and said, I just don't think my character would care about hair in this environment. She would just be like, hey, I'm one of the guys.
Yeah, she's a warrior.
I don't have time to worry about hair in this kind of, while all this is going on. That's the last thing anybody in this world would care about is how pretty they are with their long hair. So
I think it also symbolizes that she's broken just like the rest of them in many ways. As her destination is probably when she plans to revive herself, true self. But yeah, it's
well, it's just a practical thing, you know. For the characters, like I don't have time to mess with hair. I'm just a warrior.
Right.
I'm not.
I was just speculating some fan fiction. I know where they try to end up at, but yeah. So yeah, all the war boys who joined them on the road.
They all have shaved heads.
Yeah,
so.
And they defeated the other guys, of course. So that was just a delay to what was coming. So yeah, Max is finally getting freed, and he's excited because I think he's got a tool.
A tool.
I think he grabbed something.
Well, they. I guess I'm not sure where you're going with that.
No, I think something like popped off, and he had something in his hands. I think, and he was he's grasping his hands. I could be wrong, but yeah, we'll see if that resurfaces. But yeah, they're going to a sandstorm, basically. Really cool visuals.
Oh yeah, and you know when they showed this in the theaters in the trailer, you know, you kind of thought, well, this is probably the climax of the movie, but no, this is just the beginning of the movie. So they really didn't show nearly as much in the trailer as you thought. When
took his shoe. So yeah, poor Max, he can't even get in the car now. So he's gonna get that sand head on. That's gotta hurt. Yeah, this is really cool. And I think 3D really brought this out. It really put you in the scene.
Yeah, and not to mention the sound. I mean, we've got the sound turned down right now just because we've got I think we've got the subtitles on, and this descriptive audio is what we turned on.
And I will say this, like, once you see this movie for the first time, or if you decide to see it after this, yeah, have the sound up and put it on the biggest screen you got, because it deserves it.
You need a great sound system for this movie. Mm-hmm. It deserves it, because it's one of those movies where I kind of feel sorry for people who didn't see it in the theater, because it's just, you know, for somebody that's watching it on an iPad or something that, that's
or iPhone,
just not the way to watch this movie.
Yeah, because I'm sure a lot of people be like, "Oh, this is crap" or something. It's like you don't even get
it's just not the same effect. But
no, not at all.
But
this is cool, like a twister inside this sandstorm.
Yeah, this movie, I remember watching it the first time. You were so tense through the entire movie, just because it was just so many things are happening. Well, it was relentless.
I, as an audience member, I felt the restraints that Max felt, especially with this thing on his head, him being tied to the vehicle. I don't know. To me, I really felt restraint.
Being used as a blood bag.
Yeah. Well, just that mask too. I mean, until he gets it off, it just felt like, I don't know. They did a good job. You just really could feel for him, you know.
Yeah, what are we, like a half hour into the movie or so, and he's still got that mask on.
Oh yeah, it takes like forever to get it off. It's crazy.
And he has very little dialogue in this movie. It's probably what maybe a couple pages of actual dialogue he has.
Yeah, I mean, in a way, he's more along for the ride, but a lot of people, I think, that's one thing they've complained about. It's it's really not a Mad Max movie.
That's the way the Max character has always been in every movie, though.
Right.
Except for maybe the first one, he's had very little to say. He's been kind of this samurai warrior that just kind of is, you know, he's kind of like the man with no name. Just,
well, that's
the Eastwood character.
That's the way. I mean, that's what I would say to anybody who was like, "Well, it's not really a Max movie. It's more of a Furiosa." But yeah, I mean, Max has always just been. Adventure finds him. Basically.
He's always been kind of this outside observer who kind of finds himself embroiled in more action than he really wants. But he winds up saving the day anyway. Or helping to save the day.
I live again.
You know, it's interesting. You know, something I noticed was that he never actually really confronts the main villain face to face.
Oh, you're right.
And I don't think he necessarily really did in the Road Warrior either. For that matter, even in the original Mad Max, he really didn't have that much face to face interaction with the main villain. So that's kind of been a trademark of the movies.
Yeah, that's a really good observation. Didn't even think about that.
He's so, you know, separated from the main plot of the movie that he doesn't even interact with the main villain. So it's
this part. I really felt restraint. You know, just putting myself in his shoes. He's slowly getting out of the sand here he's buried in, but he's still got that damn mask on. Then of course he's gonna
Yeah, you can kind of empathize with how thirsty and how dirty and filthy he must
Hot.
be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then of course he's hallucinating too.
And the sound in this is really good too, where his hearing is.
Yeah, this is really good. He's just
affected.
moving, the movements, everything. He's just in a daze, basically.
Yeah, and then the sound, all this weird sound stops after he pulls out that IV there.
Oh yeah,
that's sucking the blood out of him.
Oh yeah, that's probably another reason why he's like that. Because he's had some blood loss.
Yeah, he's helping keep Nux there alive. So Nux has to go through the majority of the rest of the movie without his blood bag. So I think that's one of the reasons why he chooses the fate he does towards the end of the movie is because he's not going to live very long without a blood bag anyway. I think that's why he needed one in the first place, because he was dying.
Right. This is going to be an homage to past Max movies here. Classic gun.
Where the sawed-off double-barrel shotgun doesn't work.
Yeah,
it just kind
exactly.
of fizzles out.
I think it's like 2 times in this movie it doesn't work.
Right.
I know, because when I first saw this, I was like, oh crap, he's going to blow his arm off. Like, I know he's in some of the more of the movies, so it's like he's going to have no arm, bleeding everywhere. That's cool, the slow reveal.
Yeah, in the background. That was cool.
Sand settling. There they are. Of course,
I don't think I even noticed that reveal as much even until just now.
Yeah, that's what's nice about this movie. Like, you can always find something new, it seems. There's so much to take in. It's really impossible to
see
frame, everything.
Yeah, every frame is just beautifully composed.
The detail, yeah.
I know the cinematographer, John Seal, he came out of retirement to do this movie. That's how much he believed in it.
Did he do the originals, do you know?
No, he, I think he's known for, let's see, what other movies has he done, John Seal? I can't think off the top of my head, but he's done some other really well-regarded movies, and he's an old guy, so he was he believed in the project enough. He came out of retirement to film it.
I'm sure he enjoyed this scene.
He received with all these half-naked girls. He received this direction from George Miller to keep everything composed in the center of the frame. So you notice in the movie, almost everybody is always in the center of the frame.
Oh.
Which is very unusual.
That looks like it hurts.
So I think the logic behind that was that there's just so much action. He just didn't want the audience members to have to look all over the screen to find out what was going on.
Yeah, one of the brides is was it Zoe Kravitz? Lenny Kravitz's daughter.
Yeah, another one of them is Elvis Presley's granddaughter. I think that's the one that has the red hair.
You also feel for him here. You're like, oh, I'm so thirsty.
Yeah, and look at all the water they're wasting.
Yeah,
they just leave it turned on and it's pouring out all over the desert. I kind of like some of the scarification they have on their faces and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, and then this detail of the pregnant belly. Even though you already knew, but it's see-through now. So
this is Rosie Huntington Whiteley, who I think her first movie was Transformers. I'm not sure which Transformers.
The third one.
It was the third one after Megan Fox.
Dark Side. That's not Dark Side of the Moon. Something like that.
Whatever it was. It was after Megan Fox departed from the series. So I think this is, I don't know if it's her second role. It's like her second major role that she's had.
She surprised me in this because she wasn't a horrible actress from that Transformers movie, but
she was mostly TNA. Let's face it.
Of course, yeah. But in this one, she actually does do a good performance. I believe.
Oh yeah.
She's the main bride practically.
Yeah, Michael Bay and his customary TNA. Yeah. But yeah, she's a lot more than that in this movie. She's kind of an anchor. She's a pivotal character in the movie, actually. And she meets a surprising fate.
Yeah, she's gonna be future Mrs. Jason Statham, I think.
Oh, really? Mm-hmm. Oh, wow.
Yeah, Rosie Huntington Whiteley. Yep.
Jason Statham. Wow.
I wonder how that proposal sounded.
Well, he probably sounded a little bit like this, where you're like, I'm Jason Statham. I like me some supermodels. So if you don't
I'm filthy
mind,
rich. Okay.
if you don't mind, I'd like to transport you to my bedroom,
Their wedding will be an adventure.
and we can watch my crank together, if you will.
Yeah, how could you say no to that?
Yeah, take it slow, not fast and furious.
It's beautiful. Yeah.
That
So yeah, the Furiosa and Max they're at it. This is
actually this is one of my favorite fight scenes in the movie.
Yeah,
It's so well choreographed.
That's cool. The breakaway skulls. There's a gun revealed.
Yeah, and once again they're speeding up the film, slowing it down. They're using these different shutter speeds to make it look choppy and really kinetic.
This part's really.
He has one of his
cool.
post-traumatic stress flashbacks at the worst time.
And she about shoots him, and that's
And it has that really cool sound effect where I don't know if you've ever shot a gun and they have that ringing in your ears. It's terrible.
I bet.
Yeah.
And of course, he's still attached, so just when he gets ahead, he gets pulled back.
She fights pretty well for a one-armed lady.
Yeah, I mean that'd be hard for her. It's just like they were probably telling her, like, don't use your arm.
She actually broke Tom Hardy's nose in this scene.
Oh, really?
Yeah, hitting him with the.
Well, I wonder if the mask didn't help there either.
Oh yeah, the mask was pushed so far against his nose that she hit him with that hose, I think, and it broke his
damn
nose.
Mask. Yeah,
yeah. So she's abusive.
Yeah. Shredder. I don't know if you ever seen Dark Knight Returns, the comic book movie adaptation, or the comic itself, but these war boys use a lot of slang similar to the gang members in that story. It's pretty cool. I don't wonder if it's an homage to that at all, but yeah, it's very identical. If you ever check it out, you'll probably pick up on it.
Are there any what kind of slang? Like, do you
just
have any
like
examples
slice
there?
and dice. They say something like that. Just like what he was just saying. And they kind of look similar. I mean, a lot of them have mohawks. It's like an 80s look. We'll see here that Max isn't the greatest shot. He kind of
he's actually the cause of her death in a way.
Her, yeah,
because he spoilers, but he like
what
he shoots her leg there, or he gives her that flesh wound there where it's bleeding, and then that helps lead to her death later.
Oh, because her leg's weak. Is that why?
Well, she slips on her blood, the blood that's running down her leg.
Oh, okay, wow.
And falls off, yeah, and falls to her death. He gets run over.
Wow, I didn't even realize that.
Oh, you probably just forgot.
Damn you, Max.
Yeah, it's all his fault. But you see here, you can see all that, like every little piece of dirt on her face. And
yeah,
it just looks so. Oh, looks
that's
so
a
hot
cool
and
line.
grimy.
Pick up what you can and start walking or
run.
And it's just cool how she's calm about this in a way, because as we'll see, she's got a backup plan for anyone who takes her vehicle.
Right. She's full of surprises.
Yeah.
That windshield, it looked like it was pretty hard to see out of.
Oh yeah. And the vehicles in this movie are just really, really cool. It's the imagination that went into them.
Hot rodded together.
And they're real. They're not like,
they actually built these things.
Not like a Robert Rodriguez type of CG. You can just add it in later. It's real stuff. I love that that arm skeleton's really cool. And she's getting her gear on. Trying to talk Max into letting them in.
And he's not
doesn't trust him.
He's not wanting to bargain here. He just wants to get the heck out of there.
Well, she just tried to shoot him in the head, so
that's true.
A little bit of hard feelings there.
I'd be a little upset too.
Yeah,
I'd hold a grudge.
They need a Full House moment. They're coming. That's what she's telling them.
War machine.
He's thinking.
And what finally sells him is she asks him, "Do you want that thing off your face?"
Yeah.
He's like,
And
"Yeah."
then he gives it a look. Yeah, this is cool.
I spent almost the entire movie with this thing on my face, chained up.
That steering wheel is pretty cool.
What's that?
The steering wheel she has.
Oh yeah, with that
neat.
skull on it. Yeah.
I just love the detail in this movie. It's just crazy how much there is.
I'd love to have some props from this movie. They'd be worth a fortune, I'm sure, but
you almost wonder if they're able to give much away. Probably not.
I know there's people out there, cosplayers and stuff like that, have tried to recreate a lot of these costumes and props,
yeah.
but it just takes so much attention to detail and so much money, I'm sure, to try and recreate this
I follow Iowa Cosplay, and there's a guy right now working on a Morton Joe outfit. He's got the mask and the bag he just got. He's got a little ways to go, but that'd be a cool costume to see replicated.
I know anybody that comes up with a way to mass produce these things and sell them, I'm sure they'd make a fortune selling this to cosplayers.
Yeah, it's almost a shame this isn't. It's just kind of it was a success, but you look at all the Star Wars merchandise. Like, I mean, of course, this movie isn't really a toy movie, but there's just so much cool stuff you could see people wanting to collect. Some billionaire probably bought this truck. Or maybe not. I think they destroyed it in the end.
I wonder what they did with all these vehicles that they built. I know they're out there. It's just I don't know what they're going to do.
Just friends of production bought them or something.
I know they wheeled them out for the premiere in Australia, and I think they made some appearances some other places. But yeah, I really wonder: are they just in storage in some huge garage somewhere, or what?
Yeah, you wonder. It wasn't cheap. Oh, I wonder.
So here's a little, kind of some little joke here about all the weapons he has to fish out of the truck here.
She's pretty much like, yeah, that's all, and he's not convinced, and he finds more.
There's this huge arsenal of weapons in the small cabin, hidden everywhere.
You know that bone right there for the shifter? You think that's her bone from her arm that she lost? Part of it?
That'd be weird.
I'm just picking out things here. Why not, though? I mean, everything else is decked out.
It's just
personal.
So crazy. It just might be true.
It's an extension of herself. And this is, this is one of the brothers. What town is this guy representing?
These are from it's not. It's the gas town, I think. Because the other guy's the other brother's the bullet farmer.
Yep.
So these are the gas town guys. So the one brother he's this big fat guy that has his nose cut off, and he has this metal nose in place of his
he's disgusting. He's got like swollen.
Oh yeah, he's got this like elephantitis or something on his feet
and he's got nipple piercings, which is hard to see, but his chains hanging off him.
Right,
He's got like a suit on, but he's got like a ripped open, front. It's crazy.
These movies have always had these weird fetishistic things going on with their outfits.
That's what's nice about it, though. You can just go for crazy looks and don't have to worry about.
Didn't one of the characters have like an assless chaps or something?
I wouldn't be surprised.
The Road Warrior, yeah. There's always been this weird S&M stuff going on with the
costumes. The Bullet Town brothers. He's got a cool look. He's got like a bullets draped over his head, like like you load a machine gun.
Kind of like this samurai warrior kind of headdress thing. Yeah,
it's really cool look.
It's I don't know how they came up with that, but that's awesome.
So this is their gas source right here, this little tank?
Yeah, this is the tanker full of fuel that she's going to use to, she took it under the ruse that they were going to exchange it, but she's actually taking it with her to trade in with these people here in these mountains.
But it's a small one on the back, right? Because the rest is water, isn't it? In the bigger tank, isn't it?
Right,
the
rest is water, mostly water.
So all they have is that one tank filled, one little tank filled with the gas. Of course, here's a war boy he's caught on. What's the guy's name again? I'm sorry.
Nux. N-U-X.
Nux. I'll have to remember that. And he's still working on it. He's got his classic jacket back. Although I don't know if it's a classic or not. I don't remember the shoulder. Well, maybe he did have a shoulder pad.
Yeah, they patterned it off the one that
I'm sure they tweaked it.
The Mel Gibson wore.
Mm-hmm.
No, they tried to stay really faithful to it.
Yeah,
to the one he wore in the Road Warrior.
Yeah, the cleanest Mad Max movie is the first one, and then after that, it's just all dirty.
It gets progressively more and more bleak.
His leather jacket was all fine and black, and now it's just barely there, really.
Yeah,
of course, the Interceptor in its prime.
You can see some gray in her hair here, so it's
yeah.
You can see. I think she is in her 40s now. So
so it's probably real.
I like a lot of the slang and the terminology they use in this movie, like Half-Life. Mm-hmm. He's at the end of his half-life, and they use all these they just use all these terms like it's just everyday terminology, like we would use the words like cool or they got their own language, own way of communication, especially the war boys themselves. Shiny and chrome.
Yes. He still got the spray on his face from when he tried to go to Valhalla.
Yeah.
Yeah, these are really cool shots, just wide in scope. And
yeah, here in the mountains. Yeah.
And then intimate ones like in the cockpit here. It's really cool. You really do feel like you're on a road trip. So she told these guys that she was going to be alone. That's why everyone's trying to hide. Mm-hmm. So what's the deal again? They exchange the fuel, and for that,
so they'll be allowed through the mountains without harm, and then they'll blow up the part of the deal was that they'll blow up the mountains behind them so that anybody chasing them can't come through. So you'll see here after everybody gets hit in here, she'll start wiping all that grease all over her head because at some point it got cleaned off, and so she'll put it back on here in order to get into character, I guess, before she meets this motorcycle gang.
Yeah, it just makes her look more intimidating.
Yeah, it makes her look like some sort of warrior,
especially when the eyes pop out. It's really a cool look. This is a really, really great character.
It's pretty hard to ugly up Charlize Theron. So.
Oh yeah. Well, Monster was, but that took like prosthetics and stuff.
Yeah,
I don't know if you ever saw that movie.
Yeah, and she did gain a lot of weight to play that character.
So right now she's showing him the coding to turn the car back on, so he can take off and leave her there. Basically, I think she's sacrificing herself. That's the plan anyway, because they're not going to give the guys the fuel they wanted. Right?
Well, the plan is to do the deal, but what goes wrong is like you'll see here in a minute, like the guy said, hey, you said there'd be just a small war party chasing you. Didn't. And in reality, there's like 2 or 3 towns worth of people chasing them. So that kind of throws the deal.
That's cool. She's looking back in the mirror.
Yeah. So the deal kind of goes awry because they just didn't count on this many people chasing them down.
Did you get like a sense of attraction between her and Max, or is that just...
No, not really. It was mostly just
admiration, probably.
Yeah, we're working together and under these circumstances and it kind of slowly grows into this respect, and
they're basically like
similar
people.
Just a very small amount of caring, as much caring as as you can do under these circumstances.
Well, and there's restraint on his part to trust her, probably because she's a woman, things like that. So I think, they earn each other's respect because,
actually, this movie kind of probably throws a lot of stereotypical movie plots out of whack, because most audiences would expect that there would be some sort of love interest story going on, some subplot of a romance.
It doesn't need it. I just was curious.
And it's not real. Well, I don't know how if I can use the word realistic, but for this movie, it's that just wouldn't happen in this huge chase of a movie. It's like,
I'm the king of the world. Yeah. Let me draw you.
And these are obviously two extremely damaged people.
Oh yeah, I mean they're all just crazy. Yeah, but I think in Road Warrior, I think there was a lady who found him very attractive and wanted him to come with them.
Yeah, but even then, nothing was ever really said.
Yeah. And that's fine. You don't, realistically, this wouldn't happen unless it was like a true commercial movie.
Yeah, there's just no time for Love, Dr. Jones in this world.
Yeah. So, yeah, she's having some labor pains.
Angharad.
Trying to stay quiet.
Her name is like Angharad the something. The Pleasant or something. I don't know. Do you have the character names there in front of you? Like the brides' names are all like really strange. Like they all have these unique names. The splendid Angharad. So mostly they call her Angharad in this, but yeah, some of these names are interesting.
Zoe Kravitz's name is Toast the Knowing.
Toast the Knowing. Yeah.
Okay. One of them is the Dag.
The Dag. I'm not sure if that's some sort of Australian slang or what.
Cheeto the Fragile.
Yes, and she's the one who tries to turn tail and run back to Immortan Joe. She's like, he'll forgive us.
Yeah. Well, you got to go through hell to get freedom, basically. And that's all they ever known.
Yeah.
So.
And I guess in this world, I guess they did, even though they were basically sex slaves, they were living a life of what you would call luxury in this world.
I wonder if they eventually would become the milkmaids, or just curious because I don't see him. Well, I guess
they got too old and unhealthy. Yeah.
There's that cool samurai bullet.
I love his vehicle too. It's this tank. It has this tank track with this car chassis on top. And Immortan Joe's driving like this Bigfoot vehicle.
I think he switches after this scene to another car.
No, he still has the Bigfoot vehicle through the entire.
Except when he does flip it.
Well, he does flip it, and then I think he has some sort of some of these two classic cars that are melded together that he drives later.
So Knox, what's his name?
It's like the fourth time.
I'm not good at
Nux. Nux.
Nux.
Nux, like Knuckles. Nux.
Okay, he had a scarf, and so he basically got to ride with Joe, and then his other friend was like, "I got his boot." And so, they're basically just trying to...
Slit. Well, in your defense, I guess, these names are not conventional
names. There's just too many names.
It's not like there's Joe and John and James. It's, Nux.
Well, and you've done more research than I have about names.
I don't know. I guess I've seen it 3 times, so, what do you expect? So
yeah.
And so these are really bizarre names like Immortan Joe and Angharad the Splendid and Cheeto the I mean, they're just really weird names that not common names. I don't know how they came up with them. Max is actually like the most normal name in this movie.
Yeah.
And so this is a pretty amazing scene where these motorcycles are doing these stunts and these jumps over the top of a moving vehicle and dropping these bombs in. It's in the soundtrack in this. I think there's a track that Junkie XL is the composer on this movie. It's called Brothers in Arms. That's the song that's playing during this scene. It's really cool. But they just keep topping themselves throughout this entire movie with the chases and the stunts. You can hear. We've got the descriptive. That's what that descriptive audio was. It's actually it tells you what's happening on the screen. So we accidentally turned that on, so you can hear. Probably won't be able to hear that in this on this track, but we can.
No,
hear
it might
it
not
here.
even show up. Maybe it will. This is cool.
Those are some really cool shots.
That's really neat right there.
Yeah.
Like 3D was really good for that stuff.
Yeah, with her. For the people that can't see, it was her out of the cabin of the truck shooting the rifle, shooting some of these motorcycle riders out of the sky.
So things are getting pretty intense.
I like how Max just casually turns around and while he's still driving and he's able to shoot this guy off the top of the rig.
That's a cool bike right there. Not sure. I mean, it's been customized. It's been destroyed just now, but
I like how she shot him with the flare.
yeah,
the flare gun.
Yeah, that's a cool shot of Morton Joe with his red eyelids and just determined look to get them. He's so close to getting his brides back.
Oh, you're right. And that reminds me, as we talked about before, Morton Joe is played by Hugh Keys Byrne, who played the toe cutter in the original Mad Max. So he got called into service by George Miller to play a different main villain.
That blew my mind because I had no idea after we came out of the movie the first time. Al mentioned that, and I was like, that's really cool. I almost thought it was the same villain.
It's very rare that somebody gets to play two different main characters in a movie series.
Right. So basically, the brides are getting in front of Furiosa, so he doesn't take her out because they're the most precious thing to him right now.
Yeah, that's why he doesn't shoot. But it's almost not even about them. It's about his property, quote unquote. You know, he just sees them as objects, obviously, and objects for his amusement and his ultimate goal of getting healthy offspring.
So Nux is brown nosing pretty good here. He's been given the mission. He's very excited, and he's getting the shiny chrome.
He's ready for Valhalla.
That's a cool expression he was doing. Just kind of closing eyes and smiling.
He's just he's almost moved to tears because he's gonna to die for his for Morton Joe.
It's short-lived, this moment. Mediocre. He's like, moving on. That is a different vehicle, though. He was driving like that Cadillac thing, I think. This is a...
Yeah, you're right. After he flips this, he
used this to get over the rebels.
It's like two Cadillacs like melded together, one on top of each other afterwards, after he flips this one. After flips Bigfoot here.
Yeah, because he's got basically a lot of room in back of that other car, and he took that caretaker of the brides with him. They were giving her oxygen earlier. Old lady, I don't know why they brought her, really, but I guess just to assist when they get the brides back, even though she tried to kill him. So they lost the steering wheel. Got a backup plan. Giant wrench. That's got to be tough.
Yeah, it might be a little tough to steer a car at high speeds with a wrench.
So this is like a scene where you get nervous and then you calm down and then...
Yeah, once you think everything's safe, you get a big shock here. What happens to Angharad here?
He gives her the okay.
I did not see this coming at all.
Did she slip on her blood or was it just the...
Yeah, it was kind of...
And then, that's horrific, obviously.
Yeah. And gets run over.
I don't know if they're all pregnant, but I think one of the other ones is pregnant for sure.
Yeah, one of the other ones mentions that she's pregnant. I think it's the...
It's the pale blonde, or the blonde behind him there.
Is that one? I
think that's the one because she said
the dag.
Later on, she was saying it'll probably be ugly as the father.
It probably will be.
Yeah. Well, he could have been a good-looking guy in the day before the mask. Who knows?
Yeah, before the I
don't know. Was Toe Cutter good-looking? Would you say?
Well, he wasn't good-looking, but he wasn't. But he wasn't as fat as he.
Yeah,
as fat as he is here.
Well, you just get a muscle suit and you look okay.
Yeah. Wear that muscly see-through armor that he has on here.
So this is obviously a different mask, though. I mean, I'm nitpicking here, but that mask never really opens.
Look at the way he's holding her here. It's just it's so funny the way he's holding her.
It's just desperate, and his son's just shooting in the air.
Yeah,
he's just a meathead.
I like his son. His son has one of the most memorable lines. I think he's played by Nathan Jones, I think he was like some sort of wrestler or something. But anyway, he has this memorable line later after. Where
I had a baby brother. He was perfect in every way.
Perfect in every way.
Yeah, that's another grotesque scene. Oh, that was cool. I could see the moon up there. It was just a little reveal. This is my fourth time, guys. I'm discovering new things still. That's how great this movie is to me. I do need to own this thing soon. Surprised I haven't Bought it already.
You said your cousin bought it?
Yeah.
Has he watched it yet?
Oh yeah, we watched it together. I talked him
you
into
did?
it. Yeah, because I told him I was like, this is a movie you're gonna want to buy.
Did you watch it over at his house or?
I watched it here.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Did you like it?
Yeah, I think so. Of course, I hyped it up. You can't help not to, hype it. But yeah, I think he liked it. I don't know if he was like totally blown away, but. But our friend Ben was with us the first time we saw this, and I think he liked it pretty well. Didn't he?
I'm pretty sure he did. Yeah,
I mean, we were all talking about it like an hour after we saw the movie.
Yeah.
That's how.
It's a movie. I can see it's not for everybody just because of it's just so bizarre. But
yeah, and Ed didn't see it my cousin. He didn't see it in the theater either, so that really helped set the mood. And I do think I wanted to bring that up. I don't know if it's going to be our IMAX, but other IMAXs around the country, I guess they're gonna have this back in their theaters for a while. For
a week, I think. Starting, September 11th or something like that?
If it comes here, I'm really tempted to go. I think it'd be really cool. Drag my cousin along.
We'll have to check. Yeah, we'll have to check after we're done recording and see if it's in IMAX here in Des Moines.
But yeah, this movie's just fantastic.
I never have watched anything in IMAX here in Des Moines.
Oh, really?
Or in IMAX, period, for that matter. But yeah, I never have, so that would be amazing to watch this in IMAX.
Well, I don't even know if they used IMAX cameras in this movie. Do you know?
No, they didn't. But I mean, if there was any movie that would look good in IMAX, it's this one.
Yeah, it'll still capture it. I went to IMAX to see I saw The Dark Knight. And,
that one, and that they actually used a few.
Cameras. Those shots. Mission Impossible: Ghost Protocol, when he's on that tall building in Dubai. You feel like you're up there. It's crazy how the IMAX cameras just capture everything.
Did you watch that here in Des Moines?
Yes, I did. Yep.
Sweet.
But yeah, this would still be good in IMAX, even if it wasn't filmed with any of the cameras.
Yeah.
The scope alone would probably be fantastic.
Yeah, it would be amazing. And the sound is just, it's just one of those movies that's meant to be seen and heard in a theater, with the theater sound system. I'm sure with a good enough rig at home, here at home, it would probably come close to somewhat approximating it. But
yeah, you just basically need to crank the sound.
Yeah,
I couldn't do that when we were watching it.
Not with not if you don't want to get kicked out of the house.
No,
or have the cops show up,
shake the whole house. Yeah.
So this is Elvis's granddaughter here with the red hair. You can almost see a little bit of a resemblance.
Is it the peanut butter and banana sandwich she has in her hands?
And the gun she uses to shoot the TV screen.
It's a picture of Nixon behind her.
Doing the kung fu moves. Yeah.
So yeah, Nux is pretty much depressed because he failed his mission, basically, and one of the brides died. Is that pretty much what's going on here? He's just so,
Well, he's ticked off that he's broken up that she died, and that he didn't accomplish his mission of going to Valhalla. Because that's everything to him.
Yeah, that was his second attempt.
Yeah, and he's such a screw up that he didn't get it done.
He's a loser.
Yeah. He'll get it done eventually, but not for the same reasons that he, that he has a nice character arc in this movie. Where, at the beginning, he's this crazed war boy who wants to die for his, fake god. And at the end, he sacrifices himself for his friends, his newly found friends.
Gosh, that's crazy. Most people in this movie, well, not Charlize Theron, but like Elvis's granddaughter here, it's Danielle Riley. I don't know that last name.
Oh, Keo. I don't know.
She was born in 89. That was probably after the third Mad Max movie.
So she's only, 26?
Yes. Yep.
Wow. I feel so old.
Yeah. Oh, she was a Magic Mike.
I like how some of these scenes here at night, it was filmed day for night. So these were actually filmed in the daylight, but then in post-production, they added this blue
That's cool.
hue to everything to make it look like the nighttime. So, and it gives it this really haunting, eerie kind of vibe.
Yeah, it does.
They do this a couple times in the movie where they where they film it like this. But yeah, if there's some videos on YouTube where you can see they film these scenes and it's completely daylight out. There's sun shining. It's like
that's crazy what they can do.
Oh yeah, so much of this was corrected in post. The color and it was tweaked in post.
Well, actually, it's genius because if they did this at night, they'd have to light them and everything. Yeah. That would have been impossible.
Yeah,
it's been crazy.
A lot of the old school movies use that technique of filming day for night.
It's slick. So yeah, they're getting all stuck. They're basically out of the desert in a way. They're in more of a terrain where it's ground's broken up there's water around. It's pretty rough.
So this is a really morbid scene.
Oh yes, it is. This guy doesn't give two shits about what the situation is.
I love his character name though. He's named the Organic Mechanic. He's not named a doctor. He's the Organic Mechanic.
It's a hobby. Of course, his brothers they don't care about these brides or anything. They just
feel bad for their brother because it's like,
do they actually? Is that why they're along for the ride? Or they're going to get something out of it.
Well, they got screwed too because they were
the water?
expecting water and supplies. Yeah, so it's a family thing.
I
love how he pulls that bullet out of his teeth. He's just storing bullets in his teeth.
One bullet, Furiosa.
Yeah, that's a great line. He has some great lines here. They're so over the top. Some of these lines.
Oh, and the sound is like, ugh.
Oh yeah, got a baby brother.
Yeah, and
I love how they're concerned. Like,
he's just drooling.
Was it a male? Because there's like.
Slams it
they
down.
Would have been like really, really disappointed if it was a female because it's like, that's not a proper air.
And he's got the umbilical cord. He's just, I'm going to have fun with it.
He twirls it around.
Actually, it looks like he might have put it in his pocket. I had a baby brother.
That's so sick.
I had a little baby brother. And he was perfect. Perfect in every way.
I love that look in Morton Joe's eyes.
He's like, it's on now.
Yeah.
You thought I was mad before. Yeah, that would suck, that huge rig trying to get through that terrain. You got people, well, of course, the advantage is everyone else is having the same troubles.
It must have been really tough to film this, where they actually had to get stuck in order to film the scene.
Yeah.
And they had to get all this terrain really wet. Wet and muddy.
That is a cool car.
I love...
He doesn't even see. Right?
I love like every shot he has a different set of guns too. He's got these huge, ridiculous pistols, and then he has these machine guns, and he's got these AKs, and then he's got.
I know there's war boys with his brothers because they're all together, but I wonder if there's war boys in each of those towns, or is it just Morton Joe's posse?
Well, they've got a different set of they aren't war boys in the other towns. They're like those what they call pole cats. They've got those guys that wind up on those poles.
Oh, okay.
And flamers, what they called flamers, the guys with the flamethrowers and stuff like that.
This bride here is kind of
played by she's like this supermodel. Her name's Abby Lee. She was up for Gambit's Belladonna, whatever her name is, in the Gambit movie, but she didn't get the role. I think it's probably going to Lea Seydoux. But she's usually a model, and I don't know. I think she fits the character because she's kind of like got all these piercings and stuff in real life, so she's kind of out there.
She? Yeah. This is a cool scene where he's just giving it up. He's like, "Yeah, I'm not good at this."
Giving up the rifle. It's like, well, I think there was a big stink, obviously, on the internet about how emasculated Max was in his own movie. But really, it's just a practicality thing. He's like, hey, she's the better shot. Give her the gun. Let's get this done.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with it.
No, it's just.
I mean, you had stupid groups like wasn't there like a men's
I don't think
rights
it was like
group?
I don't think it wasn't even that. It was like one guy on the internet who had he even later like this claimed that he didn't that he didn't mean to create some big firestorm.
Well, I never took it seriously because I was just like, that's stupid.
It became one of those things that's like internet created where like somebody retweeted it, and then it just became this huge firestorm, and then CNN got a hold of it. So it became this big deal that never was even a big deal. It was just, people were looking for controversy, where there really was none.
So yeah, the Bullet Brother, he lost his eyes. So
I like how he's saying, "Sing, brother." he's like talking to the machine gun. Sing. While he's shooting.
Max, no, Max is still there.
He's one of the, even though he has very limited screen time. That this guy shooting the guns, he's a very
memorable.
He's blinded. Yeah, it's a very memorable character. Gun fever. I didn't know he said that.
I think there was a funny line Nux said about the tree. I think he said, tie it around the tree thing or something like that.
Yeah, because they don't know what trees are.
Right.
They like have hardly ever seen any.
They kind of do, don't they? Because there's vegetation.
There's some sort of vegetation on the cliffs, but
they probably don't get access to that stuff.
Probably not. They probably don't get to see much of it.
You really feel the turmoil because the tree's just getting uprooted. It's like, oh, I don't know if they're going to get out of this.
Yeah,
bullets are coming, and
this was a good suspenseful scene here, where they're trying to get out of this mud and they're getting shot at, and the bad guys are getting closer and closer.
It's almost, I mean, you could say it's a Furiosa story, but it's almost just a Nux story, because he came from...
if anything, he has the biggest character arc because he goes from one extreme to the other.
Pretty much mindless, ready to die, but now he's like...
sycophant, yeah.
He's got a true purpose to make a difference. Of course, it helps that one of the brides is fancying him a little bit.
Yeah.
Elvis's granddaughter.
That always helps.
It's those blue suede shoes.
Funny how a girl can change a guy's mind.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'll go along with whatever you want. Yeah, sure. Wouldn't be the first guy.
Yeah. Won't be the last.
Anything you say, baby.
Yep. He's gonna kill people.
Yeah, that's interesting how all this happens off screen. It's just they're just like, there's no point in even showing him taking out these guys. Just happen off screen.
Well, didn't he plant bombs?
I think so.
Further back than that?
Those took out some other vehicles before got the main group stuck, and that's why this bullet guy is on his own chasing him, because he went on ahead while Immortan Joe was mourning the loss of his son and his hot wife.
Yeah. No.
So we never really know exactly how he takes him out. We just know there's this giant boom. Charlize looks so cool there.
Yeah.
She has a lot of iconic stares, a lot of iconic voguing in this movie.
Well, yeah, and that grease on her head, it's diminished now.
She makes a great action hero in this movie.
Oh, yeah.
Or heroine, or I should say.
I've got supplies. It's Christmas. Looks like the Terminator from T2.
Yeah.
I need a vacation. I need a vacation. I can't do it, Arnold. And Hardy's hair is kind of unique. It's like not all even.
Yeah.
Because
I guess he did get it cut off by those war boys. Then they did a pretty uneven.
They didn't get to finish.
He basically got sheared in an uneven manner.
Because he's got like long hairs here and there.
Mm-hmm.
So he's having some mother's milk and this is like symbolizes cleansing.
Oh, and now here we see these characters that are on these stilts. They're covered in feathers. Where it's just like I said, it's kind of like Star Wars. It's like they aren't explained. It's just. Yeah, totally random.
I wonder how much fan fiction there is now. I know there's a lot of cool fan art, but just since this movie's been out, I wonder how much fan fiction has been generated.
No, I'm sure.
There's got to be a good, good amount of it.
Yeah, I mean,
another flashback. Oh yeah, and that eye thing that takes you back to the first Mad Max. The eyes popping out.
Yeah, I think it might even be the same shot.
Oh, it's possible.
I don't know. It flashes so quickly. It's hard to tell.
Because I think only the first Mad Max does that with the death scenes when people get hit.
Where the eyes bulge out of the head.
It's kind of creepy.
Yeah.
And you do notice like a lot of death scenes in this movie. They do like a quick close up of the people being killed as they're flying through the air, flames and stuff.
See all those grays in her hair. Now I feel better about myself. Charlize is going gray too.
You can cosplay.
Yeah.
I'm the male version.
Yeah. My hair's going Centrum Silver too.
You do that and you get a female Max. Switch it up. Yeah, that'd be a cool cosplay. But I mean, I could see this just coming for next year.
I kind of like what it says about her though, because even her as an actress is like, I don't really, because a lot of actors or actresses would be like, well, I need to dye my hair because I just have to look perfect. But she's like, this character would not care about what her hair is going gray or she doesn't have hair. Who cares? It's like, I'm just here to survive.
Yeah, I mean, she's obviously beautiful, but she's not like high maintenance.
Yeah, like I said, you can't ugly up Charlize Theron. It's
like, she really does do some commercials here and there for like cosmetics and stuff, but she's not afraid of getting dirty in these movies. She's really, it's all about the material to her, it seems. She's really dedicated.
Look how cool that shot is of the sand. It almost looks like
it's like a Western.
A moon, yeah. Like this.
Just replace the car with a horse. It's like, holy crap.
It almost looks like the landscape of the moon or something. It just looks so barren.
Well, it's a different world and, post-apocalypse,
Oh, we're coming up on the scene where the woman that's like nude up here on this tower, she was going to be Wonder Woman in George Miller's Justice League movie.
Oh, really?
That never happened. Yeah. She was cast as Wonder Woman. The movie never got made. It's one of those movies that they'll probably make a documentary about someday of like what happened.
I think they are working on that. Ever since the Superman one came out.
Yeah. So I know like Armie Hammer was going to play, Batman and some other people. I can't remember all the names.
Imagine that. She's like, hey, George, if you got anything else, because, the movie didn't work out. It's like, yeah, actually, I got a part for you in Mad Max. You have to be naked. Yeah,
he said he wanted to work with her again someday, and she got this small role.
She is a good actress, really.
She's Australian, so I think she's a Australian supermodel, or she was, and she's getting she's a little bit older now, but
yeah, because that project was the Justice League movie. How old was that? Was that like a decade ago?
That was around I want to say 2005, 2006, something around there.
Oh, wow. So it was like that would have been interesting because they just rebooted Batman at that time with Batman Begins. You know how they would introduce a new Batman?
Yeah, and that's probably why they abandoned it, because they
got close, though. I mean, I did hear some stories, some of the actors that were involved.
Yeah, they were just weeks away, I think, from shooting. So, and there you can see why she was a supermodel.
Yeah, hideous.
Thank you. Yeah. She said it was a little bit unnerving that like her first scene in the movie that she shot was like she had to be naked in front of Charlize Theron.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, that would throw you off a little bit.
This is where her character Furiosa came from, right?
Yeah.
Well, she doesn't know it yet, but she's looking for the green place. I think that's what they call it.
Yeah, and little does she know that she passed it where those people on stilts were. That's where it was.
Yeah.
And so it's basically where she came from was this tribe of like, it's almost like this Amazonian tribe of women.
Yeah.
Where there's no males for whatever reason. It's just, these women warriors. A lot of them are older or geriatric.
Really cool characters, though. I mean, just their quips.
Well, that's part of like what makes this movie so over the top is like there's this motorcycle gang of old ladies that are just
grandma.
Yeah,
grandma's packing. And not that you say that now about her almost being Wonder Woman, I could totally see that. That's wow. She really does have those eyes, and man, that would have been really cool. I mean, I think we got a new good one, but
and the new one, the Gal Gadot, she's much younger.
But wow, I do see it, man.
Oh yeah, crap. She would have been fine.
That would have been great casting. Yeah, they basically haven't seen youthful people for a while, so they're checking their teeth out and everything else. That's a cool little scene. Yeah, because if you think about it, these young ladies, they've never really known any women who were older and
or independent at all.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's true.
They've always, lived this life of, like I said, quote unquote luxury, if you can call it that.
Aside from where Furiosa was taken to, Morton Joe's place, and this is who made her made her the way she is, basically, these women. And her mom was one of them. And they were taken. Is that what happened?
As a child. And her mom didn't make it. I guess she died she said a few days later, a couple days later.
And Morton Joe took them or someone else?
I think his gang took them. Yeah. So,
Scavengers.
Yeah. So it probably, it's left to your imagination what happened to her mom.
Well, that's probably where they got their vegetation from. It's probably where they got the vegetation. You know how he can grow things? This was from the trailer. It's a profile shot.
And she has this big, huge scream. It's
really
cool.
Powerful.
I love how the wind is blowing
and
all that sand over it. It just looks so cool.
This was a cool shot. This is one of those trailer shots. You don't really hear her scream entirely, right? It's kind of muted a little bit, or
it sounds really cool.
Yeah, Max just along for the ride. He's the observer.
Look at that shot. I love that.
Yeah.
I'm sure that was done in post too, but yeah, it's just so cool.
Well, now that you've told me how they did that makes total sense. And this is cool. You see a little satellite. That's crazy. In all this, cavemen like living, there's still technology.
There's still a remnant of modern technology left out there in space.
I mean, there is power, right? I mean, because of course the vehicles have spark plugs, so you'd think they have power. Obviously not on them here, but there's no cell phone signal.
Yeah, well, that's why they kind of fetishize all of these machines, because it's the only thing that lives forever is these machines. They keep hot rodding them and they utilize them for everything, for transportation and for everything else. So, and to go out and raid other people and kidnap other people. So that's why they worship these machines. It's part of their religion or whatever you would call it.
Yeah. This is cool. A traveling bag this lady has.
So you can see in the scene it's actually sunlight, but it's meant to be moonlight here. So it's so cool.
Oh yeah, because the green's standing out there with the leaves.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that is cool. Yeah.
I wonder if I'm sure they had to tweak that a little bit.
I'm sure they did that on purpose. I didn't notice that in the theater either.
Maybe in a way it's telling her hey, you, where they came from, there was green. But it's basically saying you don't have to be in that place, those surroundings, it's out here, with us. I don't know. It's just symbolism, There's a lot going on in this movie. Many different interpretations people have. This is a cool scene. She facing her new reality.
She kind of speaks in this dreamy kind of voice in these scenes, where she's in this kind of almost disembodied voice, where she's I don't know,
stating the facts.
Yeah.
No longer really has a dream to.
So they're talking about loading up the motorcycles and just riding across this seabed for 160 days or however long the fuel lasts. Just trying to find whatever. Then Max, is able to convince them, not in this scene, but in the next scene,
he's pretty much giving a hint to what's going to happen in the end.
Your green place isn't here anymore, but it's pretty much have to go back from whence we came in order to get the resources we need to build again and survive. So that's kind of disheartening, but he's able to convince them.
I'm curious to know how far Miller got with his. Well, I think he got the other stories written. I think he had 2 other movies planned after this.
At least one. Yeah, he
if they
said
ever happen.
He said he at least had an outline for another one.
I wonder if it'd be tempting or curious to see if Furiosa would pop up again. It'd be the first time we'd see a recurring character besides Max, really. But she's got such a cult following.
It wouldn't surprise me, just based on
as long as they wouldn't ruin the mystery, I guess.
Yeah, well, it's so hard to repeat your success from one movie to the next.
I like that scene right there. His daughter's in the distance. She's like, "Let's go, Dad," or "Let's help them," or something.
Yeah,
that's really cool.
Well, it's not. It won't be the last time she kind of helps him. The visions of her kind of helps him to survive or make decisions. It's a pretty interesting motorcycle he's got there.
Yeah, it kind of looks like the one I saw earlier.
It's almost like a reverse chopper where the back end is all extended.
Yeah. You see the gas handles right there?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, gas handles turned into handlebars.
Whatever they can find.
I never noticed that before until just now.
Well, it's just like the cars, they put all these quirks in their vehicles. Doesn't matter what they are. So yeah, he's talking them into going back to Joe's place.
So I love how every shot is composed. See, everything is like focused towards the middle. Like everybody, the main subject is centered in the frame. So he's like, got to go back from where we came from, through the canyon.
And she knows it too.
Yep. It's like there's nothing out there.
Kaboom. She is basically the female Max. She's got the shoulder pad. Although it's keeping it's
a mini shoulder
fake
pad.
Arm on, but yeah.
Yeah, actually, that is really cool, the way they built that harness for her arm. They incorporated that shoulder pad into it.
Yeah. Got her red hair really stands out.
Yeah. It's obviously not her real hair color, but yeah, that is kind of cool.
They used berries.
This is one of the very few, scenes of just very, without like a lot of crazy stuff going on around them.
Yeah, it's
just these few scenes where they've been out with the old ladies, are really the only scenes of talking of any extended length, amount of talking in the whole movie.
Of everybody being calm too.
Yeah. And dialogue's so sparse. This is kind of a funny scene here.
Just moping. Like,
where you see the bad guys, they're just hanging out. Mm-hmm. Well, we're just...
Yeah, this guy.
The guy with the guitar is sleeping on his bungee cords.
That's
on
gross.
top of his guitar. Oh, the big feet.
Yeah. Is that them? Son of a bitch.
So now this basically becomes a race back to the Citadel.
Yeah,
this is the last part
that
of the
guy's
movie.
touching his nipples.
Yeah, ew.
Lucky Charms.
I know it's undefended. His voice is kind of cool.
Yeah, it's like a Bane voice.
Yeah.
And the guitar guy's ready to go get the word charge. I think Tom Hardy gave that guy pointers on how to do the voice.
Well, it's not quite as it's not quite the same kind of way. It's mostly just a really deep voice. It's not quite the same. It's not the Bane voice like this. It's more just really deep.
It's Bane's father. It's like a swarm. Yeah, this is going to be a big battle. Look at that. That's so cool. They're on the hood there, just riding it out. And it's the Interceptor, isn't it?
Max's, yeah, that's Max's hot rodded car that they've kind of put back together.
Chromed it out.
Like how he says, "That's mine." It's another one of Tom Hardy's weird voices. "That's mine." He doesn't really even yell. He just kind of whisper yells.
Yeah.
It's weird.
He probably had to redo his lines after the movie was done.
No, I'm sure. Well, I'm sure they had to redub most of it just because so much of it takes place with really loud engines going.
Once brothers, now enemies.
I love how they're blowing gas into those blowers to help juice the car. And you go a little bit faster. I don't know how she avoided those spikes.
Look at that. That's just nuts.
Just hanging off the top of the hood.
Oh, God. That looks like the actor, too. He probably really did it.
I'm sure he's probably harnessed in.
Oh, yeah, but still. He's dedicated.
Yeah, and they were probably going who knows how fast, 60 miles an hour at least. It's just... Yeah, the degree of difficulty of filming these scenes is just how much time and just how tedious it must have been. You can see why Tom Hardy would have gotten frustrated, So
yeah.
This is, they're getting maybe like a few shots done a day at most. Yeah. It's just so difficult to film like this. I couldn't imagine trying to make a movie like this. It's just so difficult.
Yeah.
So that that's how like a master director was making this movie. It's just the level of coordination and degree of difficulty. Just not just anybody can make something like this.
Well, I can understand his frustration about the shooting, because you're not
making a movie isn't fun. I mean,
you're not. Yeah, there's a lot of waiting around, but
especially an action movie, like somebody like Kevin Smith can film a lot of dialogue scenes, but this requires so much coordination with all the vehicles, all the action, try not to fall off the vehicles while you're filming.
He avoided death twice.
And especially since they didn't rely heavily on CG, it just makes you even more impressed with how they pulled this off.
His brother got off when he killed her, it looks like.
Yeah, that's kind of sick.
He's a sick guy. These are really cool devices. They just they put the forks down and
yeah, I love how they came up with these like you said, those devices, these harpoons and weird spike brake things to slow down the vehicle.
Money well spent, Really, like all this stuff's really, really cool. So are they trying to separate the water? Is that what they're trying to do?
Well, they're just trying to slow the vehicle down and get it to stop. So because they've got those.
Well, I don't know if we talked about that, but the reason why everyone's catching up to them is their engine is overheated, isn't it? And
that too.
They're waiting for it to get. Oh yeah, that's what they're doing. And then Max is trying to get.
Yeah, those bolt cutters have come in handy quite a bit.
Yeah.
When I first saw that movie, I thought that harpoon, that thing that came through the cabin there, went through her eye or something because it was such a fast shot.
Right. Yeah.
I thought it killed her.
Ooh.
And here's these Cirque du Soleil polecat guys.
They really are, aren't they?
Yeah, some of them. Yeah, they actually did this for real at speed.
Oh.
It's just amazing. They actually had to have these guys up on these poles way up high, driving 60 miles an hour. It's insane.
Oh, that's
who would have
crazy.
thought of this? I mean,
exactly.
And some of them have chainsaws,
hedge trimmers,
hedge trimmer.
Yeah, this part. You don't really see what happened to. She got cut in her throat or something.
Yeah, it looks like she got
kind of
sliced.
cradles it.
They probably didn't want to get too graphic. Like show her like her throat just slit open or something. But
they blurred it, so it's probably like horrible. Like, did you notice that they blurred one side of her?
Mm-hmm. It was probably very difficult to keep this at an R rating, just because of how violent and how weird it is.
You want to pull a baby out of a dead woman?
Yeah, and make a joke about it?
We'll have to think about that one.
And then be disappointed that or not disappointed, but ask, like, was it a male? Yes. Otherwise, we wouldn't care.
It was perfect in every way. Nice.
Yeah, that little arrow through Max's hand and in his forehead, that's going to leave a mark.
Yeah. This part's crazy. Whoa.
Yanking her out of that cabin on the pole.
I've got one back.
He even raised his hand. What the what?
Well, it's attached to his head, didn't it? Some of it went to his head, I thought.
Oh, yeah. It went through his hand and his head in there. Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. That guy had
ouch.
He has a road sign as a shield. That's really cool.
Yeah. They thought of everything.
Wrong way. What's going on? Man, this was intense. Especially in 3D. Oh man. Good catch. That's a shot I've seen before in the older Mad
Isn't
Max.
that weird how it has that baby's head on the back of his head there? That's so creepy.
Ooh, was that a bullet?
Yeah.
Nice.
Some like bullet shoved in his eye. Ooh.
Oh shoot.
That hurts. Oh. Right in the side. So Furiosa got stabbed right in the side.
Basically, it looks like
and she's still holding on to Max.
The fight's over.
So yeah, that would put a lot of strain on a person. He could be stabbed in the side and be holding on to Tom Hardy out the side of the car.
Well, and she's looking at her options. Basically, she got Max here, and then she got the bride in the Morton Joe's car. And here comes the Interceptor. That's a cool shot.
In the Interceptor.
Ooh, that eye. You see that eye?
Yeah, he thinks he's hot stuff too, and then he doesn't last long. Oh,
no, he's gonna find out.
Demolition Derby.
Screw you. Ooh.
Valhalla.
How are you gonna get his spray paint? Poor guy.
He got to scream Valhalla though.
Like, this is how I die? Hell of a kick.
Yeah, that was a little unrealistic there. It does a little somersault in midair.
Matrix style.
Right above the ground. Yeah.
The spoon isn't there. I just heard the description. Furiosa pulls the blade out of her. That's interesting.
Yeah. Well, now we know what descriptive English is.
That's a feature I'm not familiar with, but
yeah, I don't know too many movies that I guess I've never really looked for it either. So I would assume it's just for like blind people or something.
Oh yeah,
like
it's got to be. Yeah.
Yes.
Gosh, my grandma would have loved that. Damn.
So Max shoots out the window, and then
yeah, I watched a lot of movies with my grandma growing up, and she gradually lost her sight, but she still watched movies once in a while. It's just listening to them,
Oh, wow.
But, yeah, that would have been nice to have a little description there.
Yeah,
I think sometimes I had to describe what I was seeing. Ooh.
That's a really cool wreck there. Yeah, it's amazing how much we take for granted, just basic things like eyesight and and hearing.
Well, it's just, God, that's so crazy. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's not cool at all.
The giant foot.
Oh, cool.
The giant elephant foot.
Ham.
I guess if you threw that down on the accelerator, yeah, it would stay down to the,
Yeah.
to the floorboard. Here's a really cool shot that was in the trailer where Max goes up on this pole and the
He's
explosion.
just like looking around like, what? Holy crap.
That's such
Hope
a cool
they're insured.
shot. Yeah, that's an awesome shot.
There's some more scavengers.
These
are the guys from...
Yeah, these are the same motorcycle
they're coming back
from
to
the mountains. Yeah. I think they sit this one out, right? Because they're like, we'll let these guys sort it out.
I don't remember.
Yeah, they do, because it's like, there's just too many guys. They're like, we're not getting involved in this.
Just rocking out. I wonder who's...
The Doof Warrior.
Did you at all look into the guy who played him?
Yeah, I can't remember his name.
I wonder if he's a real guitarist.
He's an actual guitar player.
Oh, is he? Okay.
Yeah. But he didn't, I think, he played didn't wind up, Junkie XL is the guy who did the guitar playing on the soundtrack.
God, that would be a cool soundtrack to have.
Oh yeah, well, but that Brothers in Arms, like I said, that's my favorite track on the soundtrack that I've heard anyway. But yeah, there's a clip on YouTube of Junkie XL of him playing stuff that actually wound up on the soundtrack. It's really cool.
I'll check that out.
Oh yeah, it's real. Yeah, I think Junkie XL's real name is Tom Holgenberg, something like that. But anyway, yeah, he did a lot of the guitar playing. He did. He put together a lot of that electronic music and stuff like that. He has a really cool studio. It's really awesome.
I don't know if I think you did see this, but when Conan O'Brien went to Comic-Con this year, they did like an intro scene they filmed, and Conan was a guitar player. They were driving that big rig.
I think they used the actual vehicles.
Yeah, I think they did. It was really cool, and I think Andy Richter, I can't remember who he was dressed as. But...
I think Andy was supposed to be Morton Joe.
Yeah, it was really funny.
Conan as the Doof Warrior.
He looked like him. I mean, it was perfect.
I'd forgotten about that.
I recommend going on YouTube, checking that out. It's really funny. He never really defeats that guy, does he? He's still rocking.
He rock and rolls all the way up until the crash.
So yeah, here you think that she's really just given up.
No, that's Cheeto the Fragile. So her fragile ass is once back into Joe's good graces.
But it's a trap though. It's a trap.
It's a trap.
Of course, Meathead's falling for it. Yeah. Although that's technically his stepmom, isn't it?
I guess. Well, Daddy wants one of his hot wives back, so he's like, yeah, sure, come on back. You too. Little did he know the old ladies were going to give him a hard time.
Yeah.
It's funny how in traditional Mad Max fashion, a lot of the good guy characters don't really make it through the end of the movie.
Yeah.
It just you never really know who's going to make it and who's not, other than Max.
Right, of course. Ooh. Yeah, is that like an oxygen? That is an oxygen pack he's got on, right?
Yeah, because he has breathing problems just like his dad.
Oh, of course.
So that's otherwise he'd be perfect. He'd be the son
in every way.
He'd be the son that he'd be the son that he could reproduce for him and carry on the family legacy of ruling over people.
Yeah,
hoarding food and water,
of impregnating slave girls.
Why not? Because why not?
This is cool.
Oh, damn. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool though. Remember me.
And rips his face off. Ugh.
I do appreciate them not showing in detail what happened. I mean, you see it quick, but of course,
you get the idea.
Yeah, you don't need to see anything else. Yeah, they're not big fans of him. He's dead. The god's dead.
Nux is like, I used to worship that guy.
It's like, boy,
like 2 hours ago.
Yeah, I'm glad I went with you guys. This is awesome. I'm going to date Lisa Marie's daughter. I see the...
So here he's... he convinces her. Yeah, I'll be right behind you.
Well, I think he does plan on doing that, but in typical movie fashion, this guy's still kicking.
Yeah, big.
But yeah, I mean, the looks they're giving each
Neanderthal
other, they kind of know that's probably going to happen. Something, it's not going to end up the way they want.
It's like, go on ahead. They'll need hot women in the future.
Yeah.
I'm expendable.
This is intense right here.
That's pretty
Steroid
cool.
rage.
That's pretty cool. I love how he just looks up like,
Yeah, he's
That's
like,
not good.
That's really cool.
Witness me. So here he's sacrificing himself, but not for Valhalla or Joe, but for his new friends.
For humanity, basically. The best of humanity. I don't know.
This is a pretty epic crash.
Yeah, now this was filmed in, there's no mountains around him or anything when they did this.
Oh, it would have been too dangerous. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. But, it just goes to show you a lot of good use of CG.
And here's a shot made.
That's 3D, obviously.
For 3D, specifically for 3D. It's coming right for us.
Duck.
You really did want to duck in the theater, too, in 3D. It's like,
Imagine IMAX 3D. That'd be nuts. Because there is IMAX 3D. We don't have it, though, but I don't think so anyway. We have a dome, so it's a little different.
Yeah, and they have that parking garage there in Des Moines. You know,
that's the only bad thing.
It's annoying.
It is
trying
annoying.
to get in and out of there. Ugh.
Yeah. Just get dropped off or
walk. I went there back in 2012 to go see The Dark Knight, and it was all sold out when I got there. But so then I had to like navigate my way back out of that parking garage. That sucked.
Well, if you go there without me, make sure to go to the top or at least the middle, because if you get down too low, you're going to be jerking your head back and forth because it's a dome. So the screen's like that. So curved,
I'm sure it's
just I learned that from experience. I saw the Polar Express there, my first one I ever saw, and yeah, my neck hurt afterwards. Just looking around. This is a cool moment. She's pretty much accepting her fate.
And then he tells her his name while she's basically unconscious.
Yeah. Now I'll tell you.
In his weird kind of Mad Max way.
This is slick though. He had this on him the whole time. It'd pay off later.
Oh yeah, he turns himself back into the blood bag.
Yep. He's all ready to go. Just plug it in.
Plug it in.
Oh yeah, he had to stab her lung, didn't he, to relieve
because I guess it was collapsing or something. I'm not sure what. I'm not
too
a
much
doctor.
air in it or something.
I'm not a doctor, damn it. I'm a movie watcher, not a doctor, damn it.
Bones, she's dying. Damn it, Jim. I'm not Bones, I'm Max. I think he just said it here. My name is Max.
He said he tried to copy Mel Gibson's kind of weird,
rugged type of
the way he nodded his head and then kind of looked around. He tried to. That was kind of his homage to Mel Gibson. There went to deliver that line where he said his
cool.
name.
It's noticeable
because I guess Mel Gibson did that in The Road Warrior a little bit. I can hear you like.
Oh, sorry.
Chewing on the lifesavers.
Sorry, guys.
I don't think the audience will be able to hear that, but like,
I'm trying to keep my throat all cleared up. So yeah,
losing your voice.
Yeah, good time to do it.
Spending too much time yelling at work, yelling at everybody. Get to work, damn it!
This is the way to live here on screen.
Get some kids to do all your work for you.
Play music.
You know, if I would have rolled up here as Mad Max, I wouldn't have just dumped Immortan Joe's body on the ground the way he does. I would have been like, yeah, he's dead, but it's like I would have shown a little bit more respect to the body if I was trying to get back in.
Well, I think his idea was to have the people touch him and stuff and realize that he wasn't a god, because they basically rip his body apart.
I don't know if they're doing it out of anger or if they're doing it to like he's Elvis, you know.
I think it's more like
I
Elvis.
want a piece of. Ooh, they did show his ripped off face. I forgot about that. These guys look pretty nasty.
Well, I remember being told when, like, Lincoln died back in the day, of course.
Oh, they tried to steal his body.
Many times, yeah, they had to keep reburying him. Because, yeah, people just wanted a piece of him.
Be worth some money, I guess,
on
the black market. I don't know. What are you going to do with Lincoln's body, Anna?
Yeah. I got his air breather. Yeah, and there's his son, his deformed son. He's like, I don't know what I'm going to do. Oh, that's so gross.
That guy has his own YouTube channel.
These guys are probably cannibals. He does have his own YouTube channel?
Yeah, that little guy.
Oh, he does?
Yeah.
Sweet. I'll check him out.
I think he's Australian as well. And he got put into the comic book, too.
Oh, cool. I need to check that out. So is it up to him, basically? Because they're all looking at him. When I first saw this, I thought he was just, scared that they were going to kill him.
I think he just decided not to do anything. He's like, well, I'm just this little guy, and there's not much I can do.
Yeah.
So I'm not really in charge anymore.
Right, I'm going. I'm not going to be here much longer.
Now that his dad's dead, he's not much he can do.
This is kind of like a Dark Knight Rises ending when they lift it up. I don't know if you recall that with Joseph Gordon-Levitt getting into the Batcave, and the platform lifts up. I mean, you'll see as they lift the car.
Yeah.
Whoa,
It's good.
gonna need some work.
Guy needs to know his job.
Get this guy some mother's milk stat.
I love how they're the ones that come out and turn on the water.
Yeah, it's all about motherhood, pretty much.
Yeah.
I don't know.
There was a feminist agenda. But
yeah, I'm offended. No,
this is kind of a bittersweet ending to this movie because just as Furiosa is lifted up into the compound, the Citadel there in the mountains, and Max just kind of makes his way through the crowd slowly, looking back at her like, I'm going back off on my own because I'm too crazy. I'm leaving.
Wasn't he on there as they were lifting it? So he had to have jumped off at some point.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, he's like
broke his leg.
He's like, I'm Mad Max. I can't ever stick around in one place. I have to be off on my own.
That's the one thing they didn't carry over. I don't think with this Max. Didn't he have a leg brace? With Gibson's didn't have. He had a leg brace.
He still has it. They just don't focus on it too much. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he still has it.
Yeah, that shot right there. That's like Dark Knight Rises to me when it's like lifting up and then it's black, and then this is a.
Where must we go? We who wander this wasteland in search of our better selves. And then the first history man. I'm not sure who that actually is quoted from.
Yeah, I did read somewhere about it, but gosh, I don't even remember. Should have, but
the credits.
Yeah, there it is, folks.
Credits are rolling.
Yeah,
great movie.
Worth waiting for.
Yeah, I'm sure there's going to be an ultimate edition at some point with a lot more features, probably an audio commentary. I think we're I don't see any other audio commentaries out there, so I think we might be doing the first one.
Yeah, I hope so.
So in a way, we're kind of we're the supplemental material for the Blu-ray that should have been there.
There you go.
So
yeah,
I'm sure it's probably not nearly as interesting listening to us, but we tried to give you guys, for anybody that didn't already know, a lot of facts and details about the movie you might not have known before. So
yeah, it's definitely a movie worth checking out. Definitely, crank up the sound, get some headphones if you have to. Biggest screen you got.
Yeah, it's a masterpiece. It's the best of the Mad Max movies. I don't know. I don't think there's any way he could top this. So it might be for the best that he not make another one because I don't know how you can top this. This is just. It would almost be anticlimactic to try and top it.
Well, and who knows? They had so much time to craft it and get it ready, and
yeah, it was very unusual circumstances that this was made under. Where you're right, they had so much time, they put so much care into making it. Shoot, it was 30 some years in the making, basically. Where
yeah, because a sequel would be rushed. They just we gotta get it. Unless he's got a story already, and I think he does, or at least has an idea. But
I think it's more probably an idea or an outline more than it is a finished script.
I mean, he had been making other movies before, so I mean, it's not like he couldn't deliver again.
And it's also probably, making this was obviously for the length of time it took, it was probably extremely exhausting. So I'm sure he probably just wants to, hey, let me do anything else except Mad Max.
Yeah.
Because this was you can tell this was such a laborious process to put this kind of movie together. I mean, it was just.
Well, I think Hardy signed on to do 2 more.
2 or 3 more, yeah. But obviously that doesn't mean anything. I mean, people sign on to. People announce a lot of things, but it doesn't necessarily mean it'll ever happen.
Well, like I told Al, though, like if I was a studio executive, I mean, that's far-fetched, but I'd green light back-to-back sequels, just get it done, And
yeah, but like you said, it'd probably be a rush job at that point, and then
it would unless you repeated what made it good, like you had them do the back-to-back thing, and then take the time to edit it and stuff. But given that it's a lot more people are expecting it and wanting it. There's pressure to get it out there as soon as possible. So
yeah,
you
wind up with like you don't want to wind up with like a Quantum of Solace following Casino Royale kind of movie where it's like it was after such a great movie you have this like real huge letdown.
A direct sequel.
So yeah, if this is the last one that's ever made, they're certainly going out on top. So
I mean, they'll reboot it someday if Miller never does anything with it, but who knows? I mean, I think this is a movie that could, stand on its own for a very long time. I believe.
Oh yeah. I mean, this'll be, I think this is his masterpiece. This will probably go down as the best movie he ever made. And it's perfect in every way. I mean, it's just one of the, going in when we saw this for the first time, I never would have in a million years thought that this would have been the best of the Mad Max movies. I thought, well, as long as it is, somewhat approximating as good the Road Warrior, I'll be happy. But I never in a million years thought that this would be the best one out of them all. That just doesn't happen when it's the 4th movie in the series and it's been 30 years between this one and the last one.
And you saw it 3 times, once by yourself. So, yeah. I mean, like, how many movies you can really, make you want to do that?
I don't do that for very many movies. Yeah. No. Even movies that people like love, like Avengers: Age of Ultron. I only saw that in the theater once. I don't do that kind of thing for just any movie.
Yeah,
it's a lot of money if you go to a movie nowadays. So
that's what Al delivers to you, fine folks. whether I go to I think I saw Avengers 3 times in the theater. Not sure. There's a few other ones I saw.
It was a $1.4 billion disappointment for Disney. Disappointment, quote unquote disappointment.
Whatever. That's crazy what studio heads think anymore, but. I don't know if Warner Brothers has actually come out saying that they were satisfied with this movie.
Oh, I'm sure they were. I mean, this was, I'm sure they probably at least made a little bit of a profit on it, especially I think it was even more popular overseas than it was here domestically.
Has there been much talk about the follow-ups, if it's going to happen?
No, I think George Miller just wants to take some time off because he's just, he's like, he said, finishing this movie it's like having a baby. You just want, it's like, like you're not really ready to be pregnant again.
It's like being pregnant for over a decade.
Yeah. So
it's here.
So that's the challenge. He is 70 years old, so it's not like he has forever to make any more sequels, but I don't know. Well, we'll see. I'd love to see one come out. I mean, just selfishly, but yeah, I guess we'll find out.
Well, like you said, if it, it's not as good, but you always have that risk, and yeah, I'd be curious to know what other storylines. I mean, they'd have to, I'd think, move forward in a way like he would discover land somewhere or something unique that.
It might be, yeah. Well, shoot, it'll probably be something we never even would have thought of, but there's just so much imagination that goes into these movies. Like I said, it's like a Star Wars movie, just a post-apocalyptic, really grounded Star Wars movie with just so much imagination and inventiveness that goes into each and every one of these movies, but especially this one.
Oh yeah.
So we're pretty much almost done with the credits here. I think this is the last of them. So yeah, great movie.
Yeah, very good. Yeah,
Yeah, hope
totally. Go out and buy it. I recommend it.
Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed watching this with us. We both certainly love this movie. So
yeah, I plan to go get it shortly and watch the hell out of it and whatever features they got. I don't know. I guess we'll see. But yeah, I'll even be able to play this if I want to and check that out. So, but anyway, yeah, we'd like to thank everybody for listening, and yeah, just stay tuned. More's coming. So, yeah, we had a good time with this one. And definitely go out and check it out. So we'll have this up shortly.
Yeah. Take care, you guys. See you later.
See ya.